because this is crucial because there's 20 states that has tried to do away with your rights, and it didn't just start happening. So I don't want us to keep dealing with them. And I use the word they. I want you to do me what I just did to you. Who in the hell is they? It's up to me and you. So we are, keep on organizing, keep on talking about the facts. Affirmative action, the way you talk about, I don't talk about it anymore because I didn't come in there. I got a cousin down. This is brief. I got a cousin that got a degree out of Harvard, a doctor's degree in economics. He started two schools, one in Atlanta and one in New York. And when he got his degree, when he was getting his degree, there was all other ethnicities in there, Chinese, Japanese, etc. They asked him the question, what are you going to do with this knowledge that we're giving you? Every one of them except the black people said, we're going to take this knowledge back to our communities and our country and make this a better country. That's what we're there for. We're there to teach and we're there to learn. We're not there as a token. You're not setting shit aside for me. I'm demanding my rightful place because I'm 13 or whatever percentage that is. And I know it's a struggle, but those are the kind of conversations we got to have. It ain't about nobody else but me and you. So I don't care what they thought, what the law can be changed. You're watching them change the law now for what they believe in. I'm a veteran. I didn't go to the army to fight for no democracy for your ass. I fought for democracy for my people. Yeah. So that's what we're saying.
All right. So I got a question here, right? I believe that, we are all should be fighting for the right for us to actually have equal opportunity, right?
Not equal opportunity, my peace. You don't have to be equal.
Hold on,
you just can't get my peace.
Hold on, my brother. Because here's the thing, though, right? If we all take apart the times, even the Chicago fire, right? Let's go for that point. This was John T. Busable's city, and the white people burned this city down so that they could actually have an equal opportunity that they weren't actually afforded at the time.
So you tell me history, right?
I'm definitely a history buff. I'm definitely gonna probably, if I don't know, I'm gonna probably go look it up. But
okay, I'm older than you.
You definitely are. I'm not probably going to dispute that. But what I'm going to say is,
okay.
What I'm referring to is the fact that we, as people, we've allowed certain community things. That, for example, we've let Arabs come in our community and open gas stations and turn it into the grocery store. Right? Everybody take the link card and go straight there before that happens.
I sold to an Arab. I sold a liquor store to an Arab. I'm one of the black guys that charmed to the point, I'm using that phrase, I'm using it literally. I was one of the brothers that sold a liquor store and rented to an Arab and helped them get in there because in 1912, they passed the law to let those kind of people in.
You shouldn't have. My point is that the fact that we as black people don't have that same affordable opportunity to our communities. Right. I don't believe that I should have let somebody come here. We had a whole project of peoples sitting over on State Street before, and they disbanded that and broke it down and tore it down. And this is the time when my family came. My mamas, my great grandmamas came here from down south and had nothing of another choice but to sit in an actual high-rise project building. Right. But we want to sit here and say, oh, we can hand out an opportunity to some people that come over here from a foreign nation or a foreign country real quick so that we could actually have an equal footing or have a position to say or play a position in an actual idea to say that they actually have a better chance of getting something than we do, right?
I got a solution for that.
You seem to have a whole lot of solutions, my brother.
I do. I really do. I really, really do.
But here's the thing, though. You have all these solutions, and I don't see you running for mayor, though.
But I'm too old to run for anything, but I'm in the environment with other people that are listening to me, and I'm trying to get you to see I'm not anti where you are, but what you're talking about, when they write a book, they're writing about people my age. And I lived that, and I've been political since I was 19. So I'm familiar with a lot of stuff. I had businesses since I was 19. This is not putting me on a show on a pedestal or nothing. But I do understand some things that we've gone through. The reason why I periodically interrupt you guys, let's start talking about how to fix this today. We all know the problem. I'm the choir director, so on the downstroke, I want all of y'all to tell me what the fuck is wrong with us, and then let's talk about fixing it. And I do have one solution.
I want you to stop using language like that in front of these ladies.
Well, I don't consider that. I don't consider that. Pardon me, but I don't consider me really cursing. I want you to hear the passion. But in the meantime, I do have one solution. I'm a leader. I got 2 people to follow me. You might have 50. So we both leaders. Somebody else in this room might have 1,000. So all of us need to put our heads together, and I got one solution in my lane. So if you got a solution, let's put our solutions together to get them off my neck. But when you tell me history, I know your history and you know mine. Everyone in this room can talk about what you talk about. I'm the oldest at this moment with what you're talking about. But I want us to talk about fixing it. We're LeBron James in the basketball court, and they don't stop me from scoring. Let's huddle and fix me so I can come back out here and score. That's what we got to do with each other. Help me score.
And while we're in that process, we need to be respectful of one another's views, because everybody's view counts.
Exactly.
That's why we need to form a collective and start a strategic plan to get what we want out of this political system. That's where I'm coming from.
Here. My thoughts exactly. But everybody's in a lane. We're not in the same lane. Absolutely. But let's do this for the culture.
That's right. I agree. So
make a difference.
Yes, Glenda, you had a comment?
I was just saying we all, and yes, I like what is being said. However old it is, the new, because one of our young ladies is on the phone, maybe 2 or 3 of them, I hope. They need to know that old-fashioned religion just like they need to know the new songs. So I thank both of you all for the comments, gentlemen. Please keep them up. Let the old be told as well. And I know, Obi, we're not going to beat the dead horse, but we're going to inform and move forward.
Well, some of the organizations that I'm part of, what we do is we set aside the time for history, because today, we, just like the Supreme Court yesterday, took away some of your rights. So let's talk about going forward, because your rights just got taken away yesterday. So I don't need you giving me history, and I'm not putting you down for it. Let's talk about, we hurting right now. Somebody coming at us with a baseball bat. What do we do?
Yeah, we develop a strategic plan.
Amen.
To move our strategy forward, so that these politicians that we are electing into office work for us. They are supposed to work for us. And so let's make sure we hold them accountable.
You know what Danny Davis told me years ago? He said, Obi, one of the things that I have an issue with, and I don't like to talk about the past either, but he said, one of the problems that Black people have, they don't come with their program. Mm-hmm. They want me to help them do some shit, but they don't come with their program. So you're right on. I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. The guy's standing at the door with the bat right now. Let's fix this.
Let's fix it. That's what we got to do, folks. So let's start tonight with at least one strategy to move us all in the same direction. What does that look like to anybody? What does that look like?
I really believe, I'm going back to my original saying, that we should be able to stand out with the politicians and create a tribunal or a board or a committee that actually is oversight for the actual city politicians, and they should be able to come and bring their grievances, their ideas, and all those things to that tribunal, and say these are things that we want for our community. And then this should be an outlet for all the community to actually be able to come and say, hey, we approve of this person, or we disapprove of this person, or we actually have this concern about this person, or that there should be a tribunal for a grievance for our politicians. There should be a tribunal or oversight committee for the actual, just like they did for the police. The police now have a accountability committee, right? They have an oversight committee that's actually making sure that they don't abuse people anymore in the streets, that they don't take advantage of of certain situations and circumstances where Black boys have been out here and actually been selling drugs, and now they take their money and hide it because and take it for themselves. Right. Yeah. This is the thing that we had Black boys and have to actually fight over the years to actually be in these streets and not have a way to make no money. And that was the only way that they had to do that. And then they run around and had their houses and their cars, and it was a free enterprise. When they didn't do what they wanted to do, they took it from them. Yeah. So these things that we have not unlearned our communities has to be actually put in place to say this is how we cope now, right? The projects were put up, and that's how it was coped. We didn't have big houses. We didn't have mansions. We didn't have any of that stuff. But the people that were here to put that stuff up didn't want us to have just as much as they had. So I believe that we should push forward for having an oversight committee, have some type of tribunal or oversight for these actual politicians to be able to report to, and that our people could actually say, oh, well, they're doing their job. And we have a report card or some type of report to put on them to say that they are sufficient enough to be where they're sitting, or appropriate enough to be a part of the communities that they're doing.
So how many of you on board today agree with Brother Jordan that we should establish some kind of tribunal? And if you do agree, then let's establish ourselves as the onset of the tribunal.
Now, I got a different take on it, even though I agree. My take on it is that we need more than us in the room with an idea on how to fix this. And we got several organizations that I'd like to see us invite to the table, because what keeps happening, we're all over.
I don't want to invite no more organizations to the table. All these organizations that you're talking about, they're doing this and doing that, we're talking about right now. These organizations that you're talking about inviting to the table, they should be doing these things that we wouldn't have these discussions. See, the problem is fix the solution. Let's find a solution to the problem and act on it now. That's what we're trying to actually understand.
They asked us to respect each other's viewpoint. They asked us not to interrupt each other. That's what I thought they asked us to do. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay, so now I go back to my position. At this moment, I believe in 360 of us in the room with different lanes dealing with the issues that affect the African Black continent, diaspora. I also have invited and had dialogue with people from Nigeria and Ghana, because the resources that come out of their country should go to me and you. They also should not be saying they don't like Black people, and Black people should not be saying they don't like Africans, because once we identify with each other, now this is my solution. Once we identify with each other and start supporting each other, we will do the things that will make sure that we in this country, as from the diaspora, and they will be more safer because we're united. Every ethnicity unites with their mother country. That's why they don't mess with them as much. Now, you and I have got to start figuring out how to work with everybody that look. When I say everybody now, that don't mean every Black person is on board. But those of us that know better have got to figure out how to control, most people don't like that word, control the minds of those who are not movable the way we think they should be, to get them to be involved with where we are. The wino who's now changed his habits and his mind, and you can have dialogue with him, that wino ought to be part of our group, that gangbanger. I'm for having a red light district. Now, when you're talking about gang banging, I'm old enough where some of my friends have started the gang. So now we've got to figure out how to fix this. So this is the only reason I keep saying it, and the reason is resources. So from whatever lane you're in, where's the resources that help? Now, politicians, you all keep using the word politician. Every time I'm in the room with one, I dissect them on what it is that should be coming back to me. That's what all of us need to start doing wherever we are. And then we can get back when we're on these meetings, report back to each other what we learned. But we need 360 people in the room from my perspective, and I'm one of the 360. So I need 359 more for us to come up with a platform to create an economic platform where we identify who we are and our culture from 5 to 100-year program. That's my solution. That's one of them. I'm only one of the 360.
All right. So I guess I should ask the question of the five of us, and now Lawanza's joined us, the six of us at this table, how many of us agree that we should do as Obi suggested? I mean, because apparently what Brother Jordan suggested, nobody's camping on to it.
Yeah, I did. I'm on it.
Oh,
I'm with him.
I'm on it too.
Yeah.
Right, I'm with him.
I'm with him too.
Okay.
I just did a modification on my lane, which is hopefully there's one or two things that I said that will fit where he is.
Okay.
We're not taking all of his and all of mine, but we got to make sure that it's culturally sound for us to make sure we move and get everybody off of my neck.
So let's, as a group, agree that maybe we should suggest tonight a strategy, at least one strategy, to get this ball to moving. The issue appears to be that we think we need to start asking these politicians and others, those in power, those who bring the resources to the table, where's our cut of the pie?
Exactly.
And how do we access that? Not
exactly.
Where is it? How do we access it so we can start utilizing it?
Hallelujah.
And as Brother Jordan said, we need to hold them accountable. So whether that be by being a tribunal or by being a group of concerned citizens, it doesn't matter what the label is. What matters is what's the next step.
Can I, before anybody else, can I tell you what I was told? I was told that the president of Nigeria will be here. I forgot the date, but he'll be here in a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. I asked the person that was bringing him here, which is a major politician. He said, Obi, no, you can't come. I said, why not? He said, because you know how you are. I said, what do you mean I know how I am? Because you're going to be asking all kind of crazy ass questions. Mm-hmm. My question is going to be, how come Nigeria's dollar is only worth $1,300 of American dollars, and we got 3 tribes over there and y'all fighting and you ain't getting along with me either? What's the problem?
I know what the problem is. You know what the problem is?
What's the problem?
Them same countries where the US dollar is worth more than their money. What's happening is the United States is taking the resources out of the ground over there, their minerals, and making money off of it that many times more than what their currency is worth.
And I agree, and that's what I bring it out, because I know that too, and I bring that out. I just didn't want to hog all the conversations, because they built the airport. The Chinese built the airport in Nigeria. They give them 15% of their resources, and their money ain't worth doodly squat. Jamaica let them build a highway that might buckle in the next couple of years, and they all speak Chinese. They don't give no money. And Biden is angry because of the fact that the Chinese is beating them out of the resources. They're kicking France out, but the Black people and us got to unite so that we won't be put back into slavery or be put back on colonized in Africa. So we got to keep talking to each other. But yes, in your lane, what lane are you in that perpetuates the Black cause? And the sisters that's on here, what lane are they in that we can add to what I'm saying? And I might only one thing I said might make sense to anybody, but I want my one thing in that room. But we need 360 of us.
So what's our next step? We're developing.
I believe that our next.
Go ahead.
I believe that our next step is to solidify ourselves. Whoever has, I say that anything you have to meet people where they're at, right? And to actually be on the same footing. For example, right? If we meet people where they're at, right? We have to say that we're stooping to their level, right? We have to get to the level to say that, oh well, we can be competitive, or we could be equal to a certain extent, right? To say that we'll go along to get along, right?
Okay.
No,
So
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
I believe, right, that we as a people, together, as a collective, right, we are actually should be able to formulate a foundation, right, that will actually support, right, the ideas or the directions, just like a lobbyist would, right? We could act as lobbyists, right, as a special interest group, right, to say that we are looking to actually say, hey, hold accountable, as we're saying, the actual delegates that are actually being elected in our cities, right?
Can you be
I
that
can't
lane?
worry about another city or another country at this particular moment. Why? Because I'm not living there, right? I can only take advantage of the situations and circumstances that surround my community and say, hey, I need to actually act now before it gets out of hand. When I can actually do that and see that, then I can actually go outside of where I'm at and say, hey, this is where these people need this idea that we've actually cultivated already, so we can take it over there, right? I can't sit back and say, hey, these people have a better advantage than we do, or these people have disadvantage than they are, and we actually haven't actually addressed the issues in our own community, in our own tribe.
What is your specialty? What is your specialty? Let's talk about, you talk about what your specialty is.
I'll tell you what I am. I'm
And what
actually
can you
ordained.
bring to the, what can you bring to the table? I told you what mine is. You tell me what yours is, and then we'll listen to the sisters to tell us what theirs are, and then we'll see how each one of us can break off and perpetuate our lane. So I understand.
I agree with you on that. So I'm going to tell you where I come from. My background is in the church. I've been in the Church of God in Christ since I was yay high, right? I've actually been ordained in the ministry since I can begin to actually fathom to think about what the word of God has actually been to me in my life, right? So even to say, at least I have a testimony, right? Outside of that, right now, at current speed up forward, right now, I sit as the treasurer for NCOBRA. NCOBRA fights for reparations. I actually fight for reparations on a daily basis in this city, just so our Black communities could have some type of functionality in their own state of situation or conditions at this moment. Now, outside of that, I still sit as a chairman and CEO of my own foundation. I'm a Masonic brother. I actually sit as a ancient accepted rite, and I actually look to help my brothers that actually come together and help me and stand behind me as we actually feed communities, be able to actually provide resources and be a blessing to whoever we possibly can, whatever in the strength that God has given us.
Can I ask a question?
So now, that, Sister Wanda knows I've been in this city and the community centers, giving away phones, giving away things that I actually can know that our people could use. Yes. And so even to say the least, I've actually been in contact with enough of politicians. You mentioned Danny Davis. My uncle actually used to sit in lounges and bars with Danny Davis. Danny Davis is like an uncle to me. I probably can go and knock on his door and he'll probably be able to actually help and do whatever things. But these are the resources that we as people have actually just said, oh, we're not going to be able to actually have that power to be able to actually do or talk or be a part of in any shape, form, or fashion I see, right? We don't pull our resources together.
Can I ask
That's
you a question?
That we should actually focus on right now, pulling our resources together and saying, hey, we're standing up for this and support us in that manner. That's what I'm saying.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? In your lane, the ministers, what we need the ministers to do, if you don't mind, let me finish.
Let's stop that there. I'm not a minister. I have access to a number of preachers in this city and abroad. That's all. That's where my reach goes to. If I decide that I, as an individual, want to access that, that's what that actually does for me. But as a preacher, no preacher will not support any political situation. They're not supposed to. That's the actual law of actually being a pastor in any capacity. You are for the people in your church, and that's what you support. I hate these preachers bringing in these politicians and standing them up on their
question. You're soapboxing. I understand. The reason why I said, you say you had connections in the church. So I'm going a step further. See, I don't know how to say this without being condescending. I move away from the labor pain. The bottom line is the ministers that you know, we're trying to change the message and the meaning of certain things, affirmative action, critical race theory, and all of those kind of things. And when they're standing up in the pulpit, since this is your lane, then if you and I can agree on the fact that we need to change the meaning of affirmative action, then your vehicle is the church to get them to convince to do that, because you got a lot of ministers, a lot of people in the church that don't believe what we're talking about, that need to be converted one way or the other. I deal with people who's dealing with economics. I deal with people who are lawyers, and I'm doing the same thing with my group. So whoever the sisters are, and if they're dealing with education, et cetera, wherever their lane is, this is not a put down on you when I ask the question. This is about how best to use us in everything that we touch. So my slogan is follow the money from A to Z. So if you in the minister's room, then how can you motivate them to be part of the team to do what we need them to do? That's the only thing. The reason I was asking that question, what your lane was, because I gave you what my lane is, and I'm being redundant when I said I deal with economics and I deal with the legal team and anything else that's related to politicians. I'm in the room in their face. So this is my lane. Now I don't know what other lane.
Can other people make a comment, Wanda?
Absolutely. Yes, you can make your comment.
Okay, well, this is what I need to say. The church, historically has been a vessel that Black people have used to move forward, their social and political agendas in this country. However, you got a situation where you have what's called anti-establishmentarianism, separation of church and state. And see, when other groups of people want to make viable change, socially and economically, they ain't going to no churches. They use other, methods to do that. Black people think they can use the church. See, this is the problem. That's the reason why King, we love the brother, whatever. However, being a theologian, and he really didn't have that much experience. He inherited it. He didn't do too much out there himself. He was pretty young. We ain't going to get any formative change economically in this country with the church, because I done already told you there's a separation of the two. So it's no wonder that the person who would be a Messiah was going to be this church individual. That's what they set up in the first place. There are more, people who are qualified Black businessmen, academics who could have did a better job. They understand the system. He didn't know the system unless somebody told him. And so we can't use the church to move us forward. We can use the clergy, men of cloth, women, to give us some direction morally. We all need that, but that's not where we're going. See, you want to make some formative change in this society. You're dealing with a capitalist so-called democracy, and see, you get as much democracy as you got capital to be able to afford it. So Black people need to find some means of getting connected within the economic engine. And so over there in New York City, on Wall Street, you see Black businesses being in the New York Stock Exchange, the Standard & Poor's, Dow Jones Industrial, all that. I'm a chemist and engineer. So I come from out of the industry where they make and produce stuff. I'm a software engineer. You see what I'm doing with my computer. So that's where you need to go. Because that's not where I see Black people at. I used to work as an engineer for Chicago.
Who am I talking to? Who is this?
My name is Lawanza Quince. Okay, it's right down there.
You want the one we already was talking to. No, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to know.
Oh, no problem. I welcome the dialogue. But my point is, let me tell you something. I used to work as a software engineer for the Commodities Future and Exchange